have you been trying to decide what size leather journal to get? I wanted to quickly cover the current leather covers I currently have in my stack and rotation, and then also just give my thoughts on the different sizes. So, first up, we have the Passport. This one is from Paper Republic. It doesn't hold a ton just because it is a smaller journal size. I have, I think, three leather journals in here. I am getting a wallet insert from Galen Leather that I ordered on Etsy, but I'm excited to have that because I do think this size is great to just throw in your bag as a wallet, which is my intention with it. I just put this little cat bookmark in here. I am really liking this. I will say my thought specifically on this size, if you are looking for something that you can use often to journal in and just write in general, I don't think this is a great size for that just because there's not a ton of space. And I think if you need more writing space, I would recommend a slightly larger size, but it's great if you just need something to jot down a few notes in, quick notes, lists, things like that. I think the biggest component of this and the greatest thing I would say about it is so small, but that is also a con depending on your writing style. So that's my thoughts on that journal. Moving on, we have the A6 size from Skylar Store. But moving into the A6, I really like this size. And if you think the Passport is a little too small, I would recommend going for the A6. I think this is a great size. I would say a great size, like alternative. I have a few different journals in here. I have the Hobonichi Techno. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but the A6 daily journal in here. I have three different journals from Moleskine in here. And I haven't put anything in the pockets yet, but I will do so in the future just because I think this is a great size to just throw in your bag, a very similar size to the Passport. And I do think if you were looking for something slightly bigger than the Passport, I find that this one's a lot easier to write in and there's a lot more space on the page, which I really appreciate. But I do think this is a good alternative if you are looking for something slightly bigger than the Passport, but still want something pretty portable. And then moving on, we have the B6, also from Skylar Store. This is slightly bigger. Let me see if I can show a size comparison here. As you can see, I personally really love the B6 size notebooks. I think this size is really easy to write in, and I just love, again, I haven't done anything to these. I do want to work on accessorizing. I do have a ruler in here just because this is my set journal. So I have set notes in here. Notes, it's basically a diary of when I'm on set, or if I need to make lists or anything like that, it's a space for that. This is field notes. So when I do start shooting in my backyard and on location, I will start filling this out a bit. And then I have lighting design here, just diagrams, things like that. I find that the size is great because it is very small and compact, but it's slightly larger and easier to write in. And I think it works really well for me specifically for the set design. Love this notebook too. I just got it and really a big fan. I personally am a big fan of the dots too. Again, it has a pen loop and I really love this journal specifically. I really like these journals. And again, I will go into this more in the future. I love the leather quality and they feel really nice. But if you are trying to decide between this size and let's say the Grand Voyager, I do think that the size comparison here, you can see it just really depends on how much you like to write. For me, I think this is a good amount of space and I do think it really works well just to get a place to write without having to feel committed to a full page on a larger notebook. So there's that one. And then we're moving on to my Grand Voyagers. I actually have two of these from Paper Republic. And these are my writing journals. So this one is my morning pages. And then I also have in the back, I do them at the same time. I have word of the day writing sprints. And then my morning pages, I do 3 pages every single day. I will say my only complaint with the Paper Republic Grand Voyager is you are limited to a few different types of paper companies because I find that there's not a ton of notebooks that fit in here in the capacity that I would prefer them. But these notebooks are so cheap. They're dollars from Muji. They're called the Muji Pocket Note and they're the B6 size, but it's not a true B6 because it's clearly larger than the true B6 size. But it fits really well in here. The only complaint about it is I do wish that there was lines or a grid or dot So you are limited a little bit in terms of what you put in here, unless you're okay with putting a much smaller notebook in here. Personally, I do prefer filling the journal. That's just me. I like a chunky journal. So this doesn't super bother me just because I do love a chunky journal. But just something to think about. And then we yet another Grand Voyager, literally the same setup. This one is just writing prompts. I've also had this one a little longer than, say, this Kai, so you can see a bit of the patina happening here. But I have found the same structure works for me. I do really like these, and I don't like, especially for journaling and diary, I don't like being limited by the dots or the lines. So I like the plain pages. So it really depends on your preference. But then I do have the dot ones for my writing prompts. Moving one size bigger, this is the A5 Slim from Mirakai Handmade from Etsy. I initially bought this not realizing the difference between the A5 and the A5 Slim. I'm very new to the journaling world, so I wasn't really aware that there was a difference, but I was a little bummed about that because I had bought A5 journals with that thought in mind. So I'm actually going to be switching this out for another Cabine Nord, which is coming next month. But I will end up using this Marakai still. I've decided to switch this out and make this a media specific. So for books I read, movies, TV shows, just like maybe screenshots from Pinterest or screenshots of videos I want to revisit, all of those things will live in here. And then what's in here currently is just my content planning. Substack, I don't love this journal, to be honest, or this notebook. The writing, it's a little hard to write in, and I don't love the paper quality. I'm a big fan of it. This is also from Paper Republic, and this came with the journal, and this is from Muji. You can put in all your own dates, which has worked really well for content planning, just because sometimes I'm not the best at filling it out every single day. I honestly feel like I might end up using that a bit more in the future than a weekly or monthly, but that's my thoughts on this. It is definitely a little bit bigger than the Grand Voyager, as you can tell, and then it is a little bit thinner than the A5. So you can tell, well, this one is an A5 that I just put in here because I knew I was going to switch it to another cabine. So I didn't mind that there was a bit of an overhang because I'm switching it next month. It's not a big deal to me, and I just wanted to start using it. And then finally, we have my A5, and this is from Cabine Nord. This is really truly my favorite, and I think in terms of writing, I haven't done a ton in here yet. This is my creative space. So we have my commonplace. I have this, I went sticker crazy a bit. So I have the commonplace. I have artist dates. I have added one date in here. I got this notebook from us in Brooklyn and liked that there was a spot for the date because I do want to really specifically do artist dates. I have the media log. Like I said, this is going to move into the other journal, the A5 Slim, once I get everything. And then this is for, I just wanted to start writing more. And so this was my intention specifically with this Cabine Nord, was to use it as a creative writing space. And then this is just ideas. So maybe there's ideas for poems, maybe there's ideas, short stories, just ideas in general that I want to jot down. Maybe it's research ideas. I don't know. I just wanted a really special place to be able to revisit. But I do think that considering the size of it, this and how chunky it is, but I think for me, the A5 makes a bit more sense in terms of a writing specific journal. I think that there's way more room. Obviously, I haven't used it that much, so I can't speak to it a ton yet. But from what I've experienced working in it already, I do think that this is a lot better of a size for me, which is why I've ordered quite a few of them. I do plan on using this on more of a location journal, or if I'm traveling, I'll bring this instead of my A5 photography journal, just because it's a lot smaller and easier to throw in a bag, or if I'm traveling. This is the size run of what you can do. Let me do maybe by size so you can get a clearer sense of what it looks like. I don't know if I need to do both of the Grand Voyagers to give you a size comparison, but this is the breakdown in terms of sizes. And really, I would just say get what's best for you in terms of what you think you'll actually feasibly use and write in. There's obviously a lot of different journals here. I use them all in different ways, but I would suggest getting whatever one feels the best to you. So hopefully that was helpful, and I'll see you in my next one.